So, hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And I was thinking the other day, it's amazing how domesticated human beings are. I mean, you just have to look at a dog or a cat or any other animal and compare what we do, what most of us do, to what they do, and we'll see how trained and domesticated we are. They poop whenever or wherever they feel like it. We don't do that. We get potty trained. You know, like how you break a horse and you show the horse that, hey, when you pull on this left side of the rein, you're supposed to go left, and likewise right, and you do what I tell you. I guess we are not slaves to do exactly what we're told at any given moment, unless you're a child, I guess, and depending on how strict your parents are. Um, and I guess it depends on where you are in the world too, um, with respect to if you're a woman. But yeah, you know, when we want to use the toilet, that you see how I said that? When we want to use the toilet, uh, regular people in the past, they would just, I'm sure, just stop wherever they were. I mean, there was no beaten path. There were no paths. We were hunter-gatherers for the longest time. And we just poop, right? Now we don't. We look for a proper place to poop if we're in, a developed country with access to that kind of thing, and we don't live in a slum, and we look for a proper place to poop. And even in a slum, you're not gonna poop in your house. We also have houses. We have one spot that we come back to all the time. I mean, I guess hunter-gatherers would have a camping site or something like that, and maybe they might poop in a particular area of that if they had a language. Now, we also follow a different uh, way to dress. You have to have a top, a shirt, um, I don't know what you call a top for a woman, like a blouse, but is that the whole thing? And then we have, a skirt, I guess, or a pair of pants. And we know that we have to cover up our genitals at the very least all of the time. Dogs and cats and cows and all these other animals, they have no conception of covering up your genitals all the time. And beyond that, unless we're at the beach, and even at the beach, depending on who you meet, if you meet somebody who is maybe Mormon or someone who is from an Islamic faith, you're going to be completely covered up. Your hair is going to be covered up. There's traditional garbs that people have that you have to wear. And we just think of that as normal. But there are so many of these things that we do that we just completely take for granted all the time. So you don't poop wherever you want. If you see somebody who's attractive, you don't immediately try to court that person and have sex with them right there and then. And it's not even a question of whether there's a bigger male or a jealous female around or anything like that. It's just, you can't do that. Even if you're in a developed, underdeveloped country, you can't just go and try and take that female or go with that male and have sexual intercourse with them. You just can't. There's no heat, but we have to limit that to the right place and the right time, make sure nobody else is around, that kind of thing. So, and then we follow normally the times for when we're supposed to do things. It's not really when you're hungry that, you get up off of your desk and you can start eating. I mean, a lot of people have that convenience if you're working from home or whatever, but a lot of other people don't. We have a set time that we're gonna eat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have to, fall within those set times to make sense. So you can't poop wherever you want. A lot of times, unless it's the weekend or wherever it is, you can't just pull up a meal and just start eating most of the time because you have work to do. We have to follow the clock and do everything at a set time. If you're in school, you have a class to go to at this time of year. Every year you're in school, you're in learning this stuff. And all of our lives is so completely regimented. I mean, even the benefits of being able to speak and being able to read and write. We are properly trained, domesticated in making a particular noise when we want a particular thing. If we want to warn each other about a particular thing, there are all sorts of complicated means of warning each other, like fire is one problem, or floods, or I don't know, a dog, a cat. We have all of these complicated ways of exactly saying what the problem is at any given time. That dogs and cats, what do? Bark, 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 meow, 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 hiss, hiss, hiss. And you don't have a whole lot of information about what the problem is at any given time. You just see where the other person is looking, and hopefully you recognize what the problem is and you can attend to it. It's kind of funny how we look, and was a piece that I wanted to do, where we look at the animals in the zoo and we feel so sorry for them, so sad, oh my god, you're not free. But at the same time, the zookeepers are also not free. Oh, sure, I guess they can quit anytime they want, right? And just go out and be a wild human being, a wild homeless person who doesn't have clothes or anything else. Not really. If you are, what is the word? Indecently exposed. We have cages for people who don't act right. We put those people in cages. They're not zoos. They're not places where people come and gape at them. But they're cages too, right? If you don't follow the programming and the training that you have been given, if you decide that you're going to go to a restaurant and poop in the middle of the restaurant, you could probably get arrested, right? And put in a cage because you misbehaved, just like a dog or a cat, that gets punished, or a horse, or any domesticated animal that we have. if they don't act right, they get punished and we get punished too, and we get put in a cage for a certain amount of time, or we have some kind of punishment. We don't really feel too sorry for our fellow human beings who are caged, because we figure, okay, well, they didn't act right, so they deserve to be in the cage. Um, as opposed to another animal, if one animal, if a lion kills another lion or something, we're probably gonna feel bad. I guess if a lion kills a human being, and then we have to um, euthanize that animal. Why is it that euthanize and euphemism sound so similar? I mean, they don't seem like the same word, but that's kind of confusing. Anyway, um, it is so funny to me sometimes when I can think about it that, yeah, we're not really enslaved, but we're kind of enslaved. I was telling my mother, I was in a situation with my boss, and it was an iffy situation. I was on scholarship, and my boss told me something that was a little bit rude, and she's like, "Well, why didn't you do something?" Because I don't want to lose everything. You know, um, I was doing work study, and I felt like I could lose my uh, assistantship, my scholarship, whatever, and then how would I pay for school and what would my future be like? So it's not like somebody had a whip whap to force me to do it. It's just, and even if you have, kids, and this is just your job, and you're like, you can't talk to me like that. That it's kind of painful, right? To stand up for yourself. I mean, I don't, I'm not discouraging people from doing it. It's, you can probably be very polite and tell somebody, hey, I don't think that that was very polite. Um, Maybe we should discuss this later. But it's just funny to me how um, domesticated and trained we are. And when we're trained, I don't think anybody is upset with a parent who trains their kid, right? You might have people who might be upset that we domesticate other animals, cows, and then eventually we kill them, yeah. But I don't know that anybody is upset to say, no, leave your kids to be wild and free. I'm not seeing that as something that anybody would encourage. Um, and it's the same thing. I mean, we can breed animals that are domesticated, like a domesticated lion or chimpanzee or something. So people should feel, I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, dislike, and all of that stuff. Um, Thanks for listening.